Hi, my name is Cheryl and welcome to another floral share video. Today's project is a Halloween arrangement, and it took me a little bit to find a container that I really thought was special for what I wanted to do, which is basically an entryway piece. This is not what the skull originally looked like. This is what it looked like. Looked like milquetoast. You know, very, very ivory. Didn't have any depth. And I wanted to give it some more creepiness, if you will. So I used some furniture antiquing wax. And at first I said, okay, we'll do a before and after. I'll give a little test here. And the more I tested, the more I liked it. And it got creepier. And like a little bit more dirt was in its teeth. And I went, oh, it's like I just dug the skull right out of the ground. How creepy is that? I was in love instantly. And then all of these pictures started to come up, having creepy sticks and flowers, of course, metallics and some sparkles. But then I thought, oh, crow. I'd love to put a crow in there. What's that crow doing in there? Eating brain matter. Oh, I was in love with the whole story. I can't wait to show you how this is going to come out. Let's go. I wanted to use Oasis for this. I didn't have enough. Oh well, punt. So we're going to end up having to use chicken wire. One of the reasons why I wanted to use Oasis is I've got these great magnolia leaves and I wanted to be able to use both sides. And with Oasis, I'd be able to stick these in just about anywhere I wanted and get different angles and stuff. But I don't have that kind of control with that. So what I've had to do is take these and add a little stick with wire. Let me show you how to make those. I have these little sticks. They're probably about 3.5 inches. I mean, you can kind of use a popsicle stick or really just about any kind of little stick with some wire attached to it. These are little pre-made guys. All I'm going to do is line this up, the little stem part, and then twist it around. Give it a little twist, and that is all you do to get this set up to be secure. We can use this in almost any medium. Easy peasy. So one of the elements that I want to use are these fantastic magnolia leaves. On one side, it has this glorious velvet brown texture, and on here, it's got green. I don't want the green, I want black. And I want sparkly black because that's fun. So what I'm going to do is paint it, and while the paint is wet, I'm going to sprinkle my fun little glitter on it and then let it dry, and then we can use it in just a little bit. And I think I'll take maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so spray the leaf. Oh, and by the way, you should be using doing this in a well-ventilated area. I'm so used to doing this. My God, I'm probably high half the time. All right, a little bit of sparkle. Tap, 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 tap. And there you go, fantastic. And we're gonna do 3 more leaves with that. Really stinky, but stinky good. I love it so much. Okay, spray, 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 spray. One thing that I have found in my shop, that glitter sells. A little bit of sparkle for the holidays. And this does look like it comes off with a little bit of a purple hue, but I think that that's really appropriate for. And last one, curl. All right. Done, 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 and then usually I can just kind of make like a little spout and save it all. So we're going to start off by hiding some of our mechanics, and I want to use this Spanish moss, and I love how creepy it is all on its own. I don't want it to look like hair. I just want to kind of cover those mechanics. If you've ever been to Savannah and maybe Bonaventure Cemetery, it is everywhere and it is spooky, very spooky, creepy. Hopefully that's gonna give me a setup to start building on things. I'm gonna try with some of my magnolia leaves And that's just going to be in the back so that it will hold my bigger sticks. These are not really a focus as much as a support in my mind. Okay, and definitely want to go big, big, big with these. And I'm putting it in the same hole as those magnolia leaves so that it will stay where I want it to go, hopefully. What I'm building here is actually some negative space. And what I mean by that is I want there to be kind of a hole in here because that is where my crow is going to live. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is develop some negative space. Actually trying to get this one in a hole down here. Think I got it. Okay. The reason I want that negative space is I want that crow to kind of live right in through here a little bit. So that negative space, this where there is a stick, is what's called positive space. Something's filling it. This right here is a negative space. It's an empty space. And what that does is allow some framework, if you will, to be able to highlight something that would be right in through here maybe. I love how it just kind of developed a frame, and I can tell I'm going to have to manipulate these sticks just a little bit, but I want to keep going. One of the techniques I want to use is grouping for effect, and so I've got some great black roses that I want to use here. These are just really, really different. They're a red rose. I think if I show you right in through here, it's actually a red rose that's been dyed using tattoo ink, and then they do a little bit of airbrushing to get this metallic, and it's just so much fun. And I want to spread this out so that it will take up some nice volume, a little bit of that red peeking through. I think it's fun. Now, one thing when you're using it, you can see here some of that navy that they've used to dye it. It will get in your hands and on your clothes, so you might want to use some kind of protection for your clothes. And I want to open up each one of these. I'm just going to pull on these petals ever so gently just to open it up a little bit. Now, I do have people that ask me if the tattoo ink and the dyeing compromise the life of the rose. Well, yeah, it does. I mean, one, it takes a few days for the rose to absorb the ink, so you don't have the freshest rose, but most of this is really for, effect for the event, not necessarily for longevity. I think the next grouping is going to be right over here, and I have these really fantastic dahlias. Love the colors on this with this little hit of purple in through here. What you're going to find is I'm going to stay within this family of all of these browns, and then the black is going to be my neutral, which just means that that's going to be kind of my carrier through everything. I don't necessarily want a second color in this, and typically your whites and black, sometimes gray, will be considered a neutral. It's like an absence of color almost. All right, I think I'm going to have to give him a little spin to see where we are with this. Oh, right now it's given Day of the Dead like crazy. So I turned it around and I did play with it a little bit. I kind of moved this over, and then I added another dahlia down here because I just didn't want it to be, I don't know, I kind of felt like I was right underneath of the eyeballs, and then my framework really wasn't working quite as I had imagined, and that happens. You just have to kind of punt and readjust. I still want to make sure that I have room for my crow, so I think I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. I might have to bring my sticks back to fit crow in, but we'll see. Here's my crow. I love my crow. He's fantastic. Yes, I stuck a stick up his butt. It's the only way that I was going to be able to have that control with him. It's got these little wires that are down here, but it's really, the wires aren't strong enough to be able to hold anything. So I literally stuck my scissors up in here and then jammed a stick in. Okay. I really wanted him to kind of look like he was feasting on the brain matter that I'm going to put down and through here, but I think you can kind of get the idea of, oh, I think that's going to work just fine. You see him, he represents that kind of creepy, what is that word? Those macabre, exactly, macabre. Love it, love it, love it, love that direction. Let's go ahead and get those little pieces in here. Now, if I had been able to find what's called celosia, it's a fantastic flower that has all these little ridges in it, and it's called brain flower. You know, if I had been able to find that, that would have been in this arrangement, but I couldn't find it. So I say, people in hell want ice water, but that don't mean they get it. What I have found, though, is this hypericum berry, and I felt that it still had a very fleshy tone. I thought this was going to work out really well. So what I'm going to try to do this is clump it just as tight as can be and do berry on berry on berry, so it still kind of gives that kind of lumpy, brainy feel, if you will. And I don't need it to be a focal so much as I want it to be kind of like, I don't know, maybe an illusion. We'll see. This is part of the fun, is just kind of building and playing and seeing what works. And I kind of like the idea that the color is a little bit off too, that it's not quite within theme. I have these other little roses that are going to come into play, I'm hoping. They usually don't have this many separate little stalks to them. It's usually just one. And I might use some of these. I've been kind of thinking, do I want to take some of these berries and put them up and through here? Like the sticks just kind of shot up out of the head and captured some of this brain matter on here. Am I going too far? I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. Okay, let's stop with the berries right there. Let's see what happens when I bring in some of these roses. Love, love, love the color of this. It's not quite orange. It's like kind of like soft apricot. And I thought that was pretty for Halloween. And I love the idea that we have this kind of creepy and pretty all at the same time. And then let's get some of these little sticks back in through here for some glitter. I'm probably going to have to spin this around and take a look at it because I'm like, ah. I don't want to make wings per se. You know, I hate when I've got wings and horns. So let me see where we're going with that. All right, we're going to do a pause. Let me play with these glitter guys for just a minute. Okay, so I put in my glitter leaves. I wanted it to just kind of peek, be a little subtle. I didn't want it to be too crazy. And I did add more of these little berries in through here, and I like how it kind of continued out and almost spilling out of the skull over here. And I decided that was enough. I didn't need to bring any more of this up. But to gild the lily just a little bit, I do have this fantastic painted ruscus, and it's been sprayed with this kind of bronzy color, and I absolutely adore it. I love how it goes in with the orange and then the brown velvet. And at first I was going to show you how I stripped that, which is very much like eucalyptus, but I've decided I want to edit this into two parts and use the back half of this as covering the mechanics in the back of my arrangement. So I have all of these holes, and even though this would not be seen in an entryway, I still want to cover everything that I'm working with. And then this little guy can come right in through here, I think. And then I need to cover the stick that's going up my crow's butt. We're going to cover that up by slipping that right in through there. And I've got a little bit more. A little arsenal down here. And I'll show you kind of what that has done, is covered that while I take a peeky peek and see what else needs to be done with this. I might do one more right there, because if I look at the balance of it, I think I'm just a little off and could use one more right here. Yeah, I think that's right. So I love this. We do have a video that shows how to use chicken wire, how to assemble it, make a little pocket or squish it all together. Guys, what do you think? Did I tell that story of the crow in the woods and he's nibbling on brain matter? I think it's fun. I think it's fantastic. What a joy to see that when you walk into a party. Anyway, thanks for coming with me. This was the first purchase. Live and learn on measurements online.